Hey dudes, my name is Riards and this is my tech review of the new 13-inch MacBook Pro with the Touch Bar. I finally decided that I need to upgrade this 2009 MacBook Pro to 10 years ahead, so no need for this anymore. I have been using this computer for about 3 weeks now and my unboxing video for this one only made 40 pence, so I'm just gonna need to milk this thing even more now. At the making of this video, this is the newest available version of MacBook Pros, so in about 2 weeks, this is gonna be the old MacBook Pro. If most of the YouTubers and tech reviewers will test out the maxed out version of this one, this is exactly the opposite. This is the most basic, cheapest MacBook Pro with the entry-level specs in it. So for the price tag of £1,299, we are looking at 128 gigabytes of storage, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and none of these, by the way, are available to be upgraded at home or anywhere else because both RAM and storage is integrated into the motherboard. It comes with 1.4 GHz i5 processor, it has 2 USB-C ports and a headphone jack. Starting with the design, I do think this is the most beautiful and most aesthetic laptops ever made. Like really, name any laptop, any brand, any price that looks more beautiful than this one. It's so small, so thin, and it's just a pleasure to look at, to hold, and to work with it. And I'm probably one of the few people who think that the new Apple logo on the back looks better than the old one that lit up. I don't know if it's the price of this thing or the fact that I had it for just a couple of weeks or that it's so thin, but it definitely feels so much more fragile than this old thing. I mean, that's quite a difference, isn't it? See, my old brick MacBook Pro just feels so indestructible. I would feel safe to hammer nails in the wall and it still would be fine. But this little beautiful thing, I feel like I could break it in half if I just look at it the wrong way. Who knows, maybe it's just me and I'll start throwing it around in a couple of months just like I do it with this fat ass. Now let's talk about sound quality and speakers of this thing. I always thought MacBook Pros or MacBooks in general have a really good sound built in, but this one, damn. This baby is so loud and at any volume, the sound is just next level. Either you're just watching YouTube videos, listening to music, watching movies, or editing, the sound is so clear and just a pleasure to listen to. It feels like they have added more bass to the speakers than to the old ones, but you can probably change that somewhere, but I haven't bothered to look because I actually kind of enjoy it. It has 13.3-inch 4K Retina display with 500 nits of brightness. And to be honest, I don't know if that's a lot, but it's bright enough for me. All of the new MacBook Pros now come with the True Tone display technology, which basically adjusts the colors on the screen and the touch bar to the ambient light that you have surrounding the computer so that the colors would appear much more natural. One more thing about the display. The bezels on this one are much smaller than on this fat boy. So they managed to make the same 13.3-inch display, but on a smaller computer than this one, still calling it a 13-inch display. Which for me is quite a big deal because I never really wanted to take this MacBook Pro when I was traveling or put it in my backpack because it is quite a big one and it is a heavy one. So this thing weighs 1.37 kilos, making it almost a kilo lighter than this guy, also making it smaller. That's something I would definitely call an upgrade. It also comes with the standard resolution video and photo camera built into the screen, which for 2019 has a really bad quality, it's very foggy, and I don't know why would anyone use it. Also, I think if they can manage to make such an amazing selfie cameras built in their iPhones, why can't they just add the same cameras into the screen? So I would never use this camera for anything, but I will use it just to show you how bad it is. So this is the video test of this crappy camera, and as you can see, the footage is not usable. The next thing is what they call the butterfly keyboard, which is definitely a huge difference between the old one and the new one. And I haven't typed a lot on this one, but definitely I can say that typing on this is a little more silent and much more pleasurable. The only thing with the keyboard, if I start typing quite quickly, then I start hitting the touch bar accidentally and I turn off the music, change the brightness. Now let's talk about the touch bar, which is going to be a thing. All new MacBook Pros come with the touch bar. There's no other option, so I think Apple believes in it very much, and you know, I have mixed feelings. I kind of like it, I kind of don't, because I did say that I accidentally hit it when I don't need it, but then again, little by little I start getting used to it and find ways to use it to my advantage. But at most times I do actually enjoy it. It feels like a little assistant on the keyboard. It gives you automatic suggestions for words, emojis, changing the volume up and down and the brightness, which you can do with the function buttons, but it definitely feels a little bit nicer to do it with the touch bar. When watching movies in QuickTime, you can see the whole timeline of the movie in your touch bar, so you can just scroll through the thing and it works really fast with no lag in real time, and you can quickly go through the whole movie, skip back and forward. You can change different things in different apps even if you don't go straight into those apps. So basically, if I'm writing something and I want to change the music on Google, I can easily do it in the touch bar, so I don't have to use the trackpad. It's quite convenient, and especially when I'm editing, all the function buttons up there are really easy and you can adjust them yourself, which ones you use the most, and it definitely helps with the editing speed, which I actually do enjoy. I think it's much more convenient that way. At the end of the touch bar, you also have the Touch ID, which is a nice touch, pun intended. It works really fast. Now I want to talk about editing on this MacBook, which is the main reason I actually bought this MacBook and had to upgrade from this sad beast. My old 2009 MacBook Pro was really good with editing videos. The colors on this computer were so much nicer than any plastic HP computers that I've ever used. But since I slowly started switching to more of 4K videos, this baby just could not keep up, especially with the same 8GB of RAM and 1TB of storage. Imagine that rendering a simple 10-minute video in H.264 would actually take me up to 3 days. Like, this thing would just render the video for 3 full days after the video is finished editing. No color grading, no special effects, no text, because it just couldn't bear it. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, it was the slowest piece of... So by my calculations, transcoding a whole 10-minute video clip to proxy files would take me approximately 30 hours before I even can start editing. But then again, in this new MacBook Pro, if you put 1 full hour of 4K footage in Final Cut Pro, it will play it in real time, no lag, with no dropped frames. And if you wish to transcode the whole full hour into proxy files, that would take you about 40 minutes. That's what I did with my testing. So yeah, it's faster than real time. And in comparison to this 2009 computer, that full hour of 4K footage will take about 180 hours. A bit of a difference. And after you start adding text or color to a proxy file, it will not replay it on this one anymore. So if you want to add text, effect, transitions, and color grade the whole proxy footage, it will still replay it in real time with no lag and drop frames, which is really impressive for an entry-level MacBook Pro. Now, I understand that I am comparing a brand new MacBook Pro against a really old, overly used MacBook Pro from 10 years ago, so clearly there's some development. But for some people who want to make videos and just don't have the budget to buy this one, editing on old, slow computers is the only option, and it was for me as well for about 7 years, until I spent all my money on this one. Overall, editing on this machine is an absolute joy and pleasure, and I'm happy and extra inspired about the videos that I have the potential to make in the future. So the USB-C and the limitations on this laptop. Clearly, it is a big switch if you come from a computer that has 1TB of memory to 128GB of memory, a computer that only has 2 USB-C ports in comparison to having 8 billion different ports, and of course, SD card reader built in. Even now, filming this video, before my dongle for SD cards arrives, I'm gonna film this video, take the SD card out, put it in this computer, then I'm gonna put all the files to an external drive, then take that external drive, add an adapter so that it actually fits a USB-C, put it in here, and then I can finally edit the footage, which is a total nightmare. Because in the past, I could film the video, then put the footage straight from the SD card into the computer, start editing. So it is a bit of a change that you have to go this whole cycle just to get things done. The entry-level MacBook Pro, as I said, comes with only 2 USB-C ports, so if you're charging your device, you only have one, and if you want to add more things, then you're fucked. And maybe this sounds kind of obnoxious, but I think that 2 USB-C ports definitely look much more aesthetic than having 50 different ports there. I don't know if I'm making way too many excuses for Apple, but I would rather have those 2 USB ports, use a dongle every time I need to edit videos, but to edit on this computer than any other computer in the world. For all the new MacBooks and probably for a few previous models, Apple is really pushing Siri to be a thing. You can easily notice that it's on the touch bar, it's on the top right corner of your Windows, and it also is voice activated. So as far as I understand, Siri is listening to you at all times, or at least listening and waiting until you're gonna say the magic words, "Hey Siri." Exactly. I wouldn't usually use Siri anyways, unless I would change the volume for the music or change the songs, maybe ask for the weather and set timers when I'm cooking, but I already do all those things with my Google Assistant, so it's kind of redundant for me. Overall, who should buy this MacBook and is it worth the money? First of all, it costs £1,300, so you have to think about whether or not you need it and what are you going to use it for. If you're a rich kid and money isn't a problem, of course you should buy it. Maybe even buy the more expensive one with 4 ports. If you're a professional editor who wouldn't even come near videos made by me, of course you wouldn't buy it, you would buy the maxed out one. For someone who doesn't have a lot of money and is just thinking to have a new laptop for university, for pretending to be a lifestyle blogger, there's a lot of those, using it for Facebook and YouTube videos, no, don't buy it, it's too expensive. Maybe you get a previous year's versions or even a MacBook Air would suffice. So who should buy it? If you feel like spending £1,300 is not gonna put a dent in your budget and you actually need a computer to work on with like photo, video or design editing or anything that just requires a powerful computing device, then this MacBook Pro is the perfect computer. I would even call this the perfect YouTuber laptop. You can edit beautiful 4K videos and probably even 8K proxy videos. It's small, it's light, it's powerful, it's ready for traveling, and it's a joy to work on if you have to work on a computer for several hours. And it's probably a good investment for the future because I believe that it's gonna last me for many more years and many more videos. If I wouldn't make videos, I wouldn't buy this MacBook. I wouldn't probably even own a laptop at all. But for my YouTube ventures, this is going to be the perfect companion and I have zero regrets spending all my money on it. So if you can afford it, I would absolutely recommend this beautiful little baby. That's it for today's video. If you found it at all useful, leave a like. If you want to watch more of my tech review videos, I'll leave a link up there. And if you want to watch more of my videos, subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!